Hi guys, and welcome to my 15th tutorial on HTML and web structure. And in this tutorial I'm going to talk about functions in JavaScript. We will create our functions between the head tags mostly, and we will use them, call them inside the body, between the body tags. We will mostly do that as in the body we have many components such as tables, stuff like this, and buttons. With the functions we will create events later on, when I show you how to use JavaScript with forms, so you will learn that in the future. But we will mostly call our functions from the body. You can also call them from head, it's valid, and I will show you this in a moment. But I'm also going to show you how to work with the functions, how to build the function, how they work and stuff like this. So let us start with a definition of the function, how this looks like and how you build it. You need a keyword function first. So you have a function keyword, then you have a name of the function, for example add, like this. Then you have a bracket and simply open and close curly brackets between which you state actions. Now this bracket is empty for now, so that means the function doesn't have any arguments, and the arguments are basically something you pass to the function. You can pass variables, numbers, strings, you can pass anything pretty much, and then you can use this value, which I'm going to show you later on, use this value for calculations, for checks with if statements, because function can basically contain pretty much everything you learned till now. So function can contain arrays, variables, if statements, loops. So you can put everything pretty much inside the function and then call it from one place and simply do this action, and it will print out something or just calculate something or something like this, and whatever you have to program it for. So basically I will create a simple function with a couple of variables, number for example equals 10, and variable number 2, let's say equals 20, and I will add them. So number is equal number plus number 2, and I will print them out simply. So document dot write and number. Okay, so simple function with two variables and addition and print out statement. So pretty much very basic thing. Now if you want to print this function, if you want to use this function or call it inside the body, you will need a script tags. You will need them. You don't need a comment tag, but you will need a script tag, and that is because if you simply write the call statement between those two tags, between body tags, it will simply print it out. So you have to have a script tag, which is JavaScript tag, and I will copy it with the comment tags as well. So it doesn't matter if you copy it actually with or without, it doesn't matter. So the call statement is simply you copy this, the name and the bracket. So copy this, put it there, and just add semicolon. So this is your call statement, a very basic call statement with no arguments, with nothing. So simply the name, the bracket, and that's it. And if I simply now save this and print it, you will see the calculation of those two variables, which is simply 30. Also you can print it out as call it also as well in the head, and I'm going to show you this. So head now, I'm deleting the one from the body, I'm just doing the head, and this will also produce, as you can see, I actually refreshed this a couple of times, it works perfectly fine. So it doesn't matter actually where you call it, it will work, but it depends on what you want to achieve, and you will call it from different places. You can call it from head, but if you for example want a button which is in the body on the forms, and you want when the button is clicked, you want something to happen, for example like function has to be executed or something like this, you will have to create a button here which also has this function inside and calls this function, which has the call statement of this function or different function. So basically that's how the simple function goes. Now with the arguments, let us have, for example, a variable here. So variable, I don't know, num, which is equal 20, or you can specify it with the user input later on when you learn, and you have 20. Now I cannot use this num in here, but if I say add, and inside num, like this, I pass one variable or one argument, I pass one value into this function. But because this function is this function's bracket is empty, it will not receive, therefore the function will not work. So you also have to have some kind of a variable or object which will receive this value. So you can say simply n or whatever name you want. You don't use var n, for example, you just simply say the name, that's it. Now you can use this n or any other name, whatever you have, to do stuff with it. You can do checks with if statements, you can put it in the loop, you can do pretty much anything. I will simply add this to my already two variables and will create another type of result. So if I save this and print it out, you will see 50. So this also works in here. If I have variable in here, I can also pass the value to this function. This function will receive the value, and I can use this with whatever I want to do with it. So you can add it, subtract, you can use it for if statements, you can use it for loops and stuff like this. Okay, so that's how this works pretty much. Functions have also something like a return statement. Now the return statement is a bit different. You don't have to say document write, but you simply say return and the variable, whatever you have, the name of the object variable which you want to return basically. So instead of doing this, I simply say return and the name, so it's simply number, for example. Because the number is the one I did calculation on, I just simply return number. Now this won't work. Because it is a return statement, it won't print anything, and this is a simple call statement. So the return statement doesn't produce anything, it simply returns the value. But if you want to print the value, for example, you have to say document.write inside the body or head tags, and document.write, and for example you can add some kind of message. For example, the value is and add a simple sign add. You plus it like this and add your call statement with the passing value, for example num, and close it. So this will basically print out this message plus this value. Okay, so when I save this now and refresh, as you can see, the value is 50. So that's how the function basically works. And you can, as I said, you can have a function with no arguments. You can have function that returns or doesn't return stuff. You can also do the return statement with the if statement. So for example, if for example n is more than 10, let me actually show this. If n is more than 10, then for example return n. Let me just create a return n like this, or else like this, or else do the calculation and return number. So if n is more than 10, which is it, which it is, it will simply return the n. Otherwise, it will. I'll show you this actually. It will do calculation, and so pretty much 5. So it returns the n because the n is more than 10. But if I say just change it to less than, this calculation will be created, executed. So it's not limited to just one return statement. Of course, you cannot return stuff 10 times. For example, you cannot have 10 return statements one after another. You can have them like this when you have, for example, if statement, because only one of those is executed. So only one of those is executed. That's why you can have two return statements. Normally you can have only one when you don't use if or something like this. So that's how you can use your function basically. And what's useful, for example, the I don't know, the login, when you want to determine whenever the user inputs its correct password or username, you can use a function for that matter. You can simply not document, right, but with the button. Later on I'm going to show you how to do this when I do the forms with the JavaScript. I will show you the button, which you basically add a function to it, and it will check whenever the boxes are empty or do they contain numbers and stuff like this. So you can set those validations later on your components, on your forms, which is pretty useful because you expect user to input appropriate, for example, email or appropriate password, username, and stuff like this. So this is pretty much it about this tutorial. Just practice, and I will in my future tutorial I will show you how to use those functions a bit more with the forms, and how to create events with those functions. Also you can create more functions, it's not limited to just one. You can add more arguments, it's not limited to one. If you want more arguments, you simply say a comma and I don't know, you or another name, another value you want to pass, for example. So it's not limited to just one value. So for example 5, I can do this 5 and plus u, for example, and it will still work. I'm going to show you this. So 54, as you can see. So you can pass many more values than just one, and you can receive more values, and you can return stuff like this, or you can print out something with document.write. So pretty much, yeah, that's it about this tutorial. Visit my webpage and YouTube channel for more tutorials, and if you like my videos, subscribe on the channel, on my videos. There's still more tutorials to come from HTML as well and JavaScript. Soon I will, as I said previously, I will create tutorials for PHP, which is also a scripting language used for web designs. It's a bit more useful if you want to do something with databases, with XML. So I'm going to show you this in the future after the JavaScript is finished. So pretty much this is the end of this tutorial. I will see you in my next tutorial. Bye.